30th, as our last big show of the season, we'll be having Take 3, which is a dancing and orchestral trio. And now, I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me listen, so enjoy the show, and I'll let the magical voice in the sky take it away.
Welcome to the Calumet Players spring production of An Enemy of the People by Henrik Ibsen and adapted by Arthur Miller for the American stage in 3 acts. For tonight's performance, we ask that you silence all cellular phones. All flash photography is prohibited. There will be 2 15-minute intermissions with refreshments available upstairs in the ballroom. The performance depicts the use of alcohol and tobacco and contains moderate adult language and violence. We would like to take this time to thank our members, supporters, and sponsors. Make sure to follow us for notices about auditions, performances, and more. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
You sure finished dinner in a hurry, Mr. Kill. Don't tell me you're leaving.
Eating won't get you nowhere, boy.
All right.
Father, you're not leaving, are you?
Oh, got all kinds of business to take care of.
Oh, you're only gonna sit alone in your room and you know it. Stay. Billing's here and Hofstad's coming. It'll be interesting for you.
No, I got a whole lot of business to take care of today. The only reason I stopped by is the butcher told me you had a roast beef, and it was very good, my dear.
Why don't you wait for Tom? He only went for a little walk.
Say, you don't think he'd mind if I filled my pipe?
Oh, go ahead. Oh, and why don't you have some apples as well? You should always have some fruit in your room. Go ahead.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of it.
Why don't you move in with us, Father? I always wonder if you're eating.
I'm eating. Well,
That must be Mr. Hofstad.
I'll see you later, Catherine.
Good evening, Catherine. How are you tonight? Mr. Keel.
Your Honor.
You mustn't mind him, Peter. He's getting terribly old. Wouldn't you like some supper?
No, thank you.
He just sort of dropped by, Peter.
That's all right. I can't take hot food in the evening anyway. I'll stick to my tea and my toast. Much healthier and more economical.
You make it sound like Tom and I throw money out the window.
Not you, Catherine. He wouldn't be home now, would he?
Oh, he only went for a little walk with the children.
Just after dinner. Isn't that dangerous? Oh, now that sounds like my brother.
Tom? He hasn't knocked on the door in 10 years. Oh, Mr. Hofstad, please, come in.
Sorry I'm late. I got held up at the printing shop. Good evening, Your Honor.
Hofstad. On business, no doubt?
Partly. It's about an article for the paper.
I don't doubt it. I understand that my brother has become a very prolific contributor to, what do you call it? The People's Daily Liberator.
The People's Daily Messenger, sir? The doctor sometimes honors the messenger when he wants to uncover the real truth of some subjects.
Oh, yes, the truth, I see.
Wouldn't you like a
No,
bite to...
thank you.
I don't want you to think that I blame my brother for seeking out your columns. After all, every performer goes for the audience that suits him best. It's not your paper I have anything against, Mr. Hofstad.
I didn't think so, Your Honor.
In fact, I happen to admire the spirit of tolerance in our town. It's a marvelous thing. Just remember that we have it because we all believe in the same thing. It brings us together.
Kirsten Springs, you mean?
These springs, Mr. Hofstad, are wonderful new springs. They've changed the soul of this town. Mark my words, Kirsten Springs are going to put us on the map, and there's no doubt about it.
And that's what Tom says, too.
Everything is going ahead. Money's changing hands every day. Businesses are humming. Real estate's going up.
And no more unemployment.
Right. Give us a good summer, and sick people will be coming here in carloads. The springs will be a new fad, a regular new Carlsbad.
I hear reservations are really starting to come in.
Coming in every day. It looks very promising. Very promising.
That's fine. Then the doctor's article should come in handy.
He's written something.
No, it's something he wrote back in the winter recommending the waters, but at the time I let the article lie.
Why? Some hitch in it?
No. I just thought it'd be more effective in the spring when people start planning for summer.
That's smart, Mr. Hofstad. Very smart.
Well, Tom is always coming up with ideas about the springs. Every day
Well, he ought to be. He gets his salary from the springs, my dear.
I think it's a bit more than that, don't you? I mean, Dr. Stockman created Kirsten Springs.
Oh, is that so? You know, I've been hearing that lately, and I'd like to think that I had a certain small part to play.
But Tom always
It's only fair to
says.
say.
My good brother is never at a loss for ideas. All sorts of ideas. But when it comes to putting them into practice, you need another sort of man, and I'd like to think the people of this house would at least...
But Peter, dear, we didn't mean... Mr. Hofstad, why don't you help yourself to some dinner? My husband will be home any minute.
Maybe a little something.
Isn't it remarkable? How is it that people without background can never learn any tact?
Oh, why can't you and Tom share the honors like good brothers?
The trouble with that, Catherine, is that some men are never satisfied to share.
Oh, nonsense! You and Tom have always gotten along beautifully. Oh, that must be him now.
Catherine, I've got another guest for you.
Captain Horster, so nice.
Go on in, children.
Come on, Captain Horster. Tom, dear.
Oh, say, this is really nice.
I'll have to be going soon.
Oh, not with toddy on the table. You haven't forgotten the toddy, have you, Catherine?
Of course not. I've got the water boiling.
Toddy, too.
Sure, make yourself at home.
No thanks. I don't go in for drinking parties.
But this is no party.
Well, what else do you call it? I don't understand how you people can consume all this food and live.
What? What's finer than to watch young people eat? You know, Peter, those are the young fellows who are going to stir up the whole future.
What's there that needs stirring up?
Well, they let us know when the time comes. Old idiots like you and me will be put out like...
I've never been called that
Oh,
before.
don't jump on me every minute, Peter. You know your problem? Your impressions are blunted. You ought to live up in that crooked corner of the north like I did for 5 years and then come back down here. It's like watching the first 7 days of creation.
Here.
Sure, things to work and fight for. Without that, you're dead. Catherine, are you sure the mailman didn't come today?
There wasn't any mail today.
And a good income. That's something you learn to appreciate when you've lived on a starvation diet.
And when did you start?
Down there, it's pretty tough going a lot of the time up there. Now, to be able to live like a prince. Live to the hilt, that's my motto. Anyway, Catherine says, I'm earning almost as much as we spend.
Well, you're improving.
Why can't I give myself the pleasure of having young, interesting people around me? You'll see, when Hofstad comes in, we're talking.
Hofstad, that reminds me. He mentioned something about an article of yours.
One of my articles.
Yes, something you wrote over the winter. Something about the spring.
Oh, that. Well, in any case, I don't want that one printed right now.
Well, why not? It sounded very timely to me.
Under normal conditions, maybe so.
Well, what's abnormal about conditions now?
Oh, I can't tell you, Peter. At least not tonight. There could be a great deal abnormal about the conditions. Or there could be nothing at all.
Well, you've managed to sound mysterious. Is there something wrong? Something you're not telling me? Because for once, I would like you to remember that I am the chairman of the board for the Springs, as well as the mayor.
And I'd like you to remember that. Look, Peter, let's not get into each other's lack of hair.
For God's sakes, no, I don't make a habit of getting into people's lack of hair. I would just like you to remember that everything concerning Kirsten Springs must be done in a straightforward manner and dealt with by the legally constituted authorities. I can't have anything being done behind my back in a roundabout way.
When did I ever go behind your back, Peter?
You have an ingrained tendency to go your own way, Thomas, and that simply can't go on in a well-organized society. The individual must really subordinate himself to the overall, or more accurately, to the authorities in charge of the general welfare.
Well, that may be so, but I don't see what the hell that has to do concerning me.
My dear Thomas, that is exactly what you will never learn. But you had better watch out, because someday you might pay dearly for it. There, I've said it. Goodbye.
You're wrong. You're absolutely on the wrong track, you know.
I am usually not. Anyway, may I be excused? Good evening, Catherine. Good night, Gentlemen.
He left?
Yes, and thoroughly burned up.
Well, what'd you do to him now?
What does he want from me? He can't expect me to give him an account of every thought I think, every action I'm going to do until I'm ready to do it.
Well, why? What should you give him an accounting of?
Just leave that to me, Catherine. Peculiar that the mailman didn't come today.
Woo! Well, after a meal like that, by God, I feel like a new man. This house is
The
so...
mayor certainly wasn't in a glowing mood tonight.
It's his stomach. He has lousy digestion.
I think 2 editors from the People's Daily Messenger didn't help either.
No. It's just that Peter's a poor, lonely fellow. All he knows is all that official business and duties and all that damn weak tea he pours into himself. Catherine, may we have the toddies now?
I'm just getting it.
Captain Horson, a rare guest like you. Come, sit down here. Come, sit down, friends.
This house used to be so ugly. Suddenly it's beautiful.
Great man.
There we are, hot toddies for all.
Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, Isla, fetch the cigars. You know where the box is. And Martin, my pipe. I have a sneaking suspicion that Isla has been snitching a cigar every now and again, but I don't pay it any mind. Oh, good boy, there it is. Help yourselves, gentlemen. All stick to the pipe. This one has seen me through a great many blizzards up north. Skull!
Skull!
Home. What an invention, eh?
And are you sailing soon, Captain Forrester?
I should be ready next week.
And then to America, Captain?
Yes, that's the plan.
And you won't be here for the new election.
There's gonna be another election.
Didn't you know?
I don't pay much attention to that.
Well, but you are interested in public affairs, right?
Frankly, I don't understand a thing about it.
Neither do I. I think that's why I'm always so glad to see you.
Just the same, you ought to vote, Captain.
What? Even if I don't understand anything about it.
Understand. Captain, what do you mean by that? Society's like a ship. Every man should do something to help run the ship.
That might be all right on shore, but on board a ship it don't work out so well.
Good evening.
Good evening, Petra.
And here you all are, lying around like lizards while I'm out slaving.
Will you come here and be a lizard too?
Great young woman. Shall I mix a toddy for you?
Thank you. I had better do it myself. You always mix it too strong. Oh, Father, I forgot. I have a letter for you.
Who's it from?
Well, I met the mailman on my way to school this morning, and he gave me your mail too. I just didn't have time to run back.
And you don't give it to me until now?
I really didn't have time, Father.
Well, if she didn't have the time,
Yes, indeed.
is that the one you've been waiting for?
Excuse me for a moment, gentlemen. I'll be right back.
What's that, Mother?
I don't know. The last couple of days he's been asking again and again about the mailman.
Probably just an out-of-town patient of his.
Poor Father. He's got much too much to do. This ought to taste good.
By the way, whatever happened to that English novel you were going to translate for us?
Oh, I started to, but I got so busy.
Teaching night school again.
2 hours a night.
Plus the high school every day.
Yes, 5 hours, and every night a pile of lessons to correct.
She never stops going.
Maybe that's why I always thought of you as breathless and... breathless.
I love it. I get so wonderfully tired.
She looks tired.
You must be a wicked woman, Petra.
Wicked.
You work so hard. My teacher says that work is a punishment for a sin. And you believe that?
I live. Of course he believes his teacher.
Don't stop him.
Don't you like to work, Morton?
Work? No.
Then what will you ever amount to in this world?
Me? I'm going to be a Viking. You can't have me. Show me.
I think it's getting late.
I agree with you, Morton.
You most certainly do not, Mr.
By
Bailey.
God, I do. I'm a real heathen and I'm proud of it. You'll see soon we'll all be heathens.
And we can do anything we want.
Right, you see, Morton.
I think you have some homework to do tonight. Better go on up and do it.
Oh, can't we stay here a while?
No, neither of you. Now go along.
Good night. Good night. But I don't have any homework.
You don't think it hurts them to listen to such talk, do you?
I don't know, but I don't like it.
Boys, there's going to be news in this town.
News?
What news?
A terrific discovery
That you made.
that I made. town call me a lunatic. Oh, how they better watch out. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
What is it, Father?
Peter will only hear. Now you will all see how human beings can walk around and make judgments like blind rats.
What in the world's happened, Doctor?
Well, it is the general opinion, isn't it, that we live in a sound and healthy spot?
Of course.
Oh, God, an even unusually healthy spot. One that can be recommended to all people, and especially sick people.
But Tom, what are you talking about?
We certainly have recommended it. Well, I've written about it time and time again in pamphlets for the Daily Messenger.
Yes, but Doctor, what are you trying to say?
The miraculous springs that cost such a fortune to build. Our entire health institute is a pest hole.
That's
unbelievable. You know that filth up in Windmill Valley? That stuff that has such a stinking smell to it? Why, it comes from the tannery up there. And the same damn poisonous mess comes right out into the blessed, miraculous waters we're supposed to cure people with.
You mean here, where our beaches are?
Exactly.
How are you so sure about this, Doctor?
Oh, I had a suspicion about it a long time ago. There were too many cases of sickness amongst the visitors last year. Typhoid and gastric disturbance.
That did happen. I remember Mrs. Stevenson's niece.
Yes, dear. At first we thought the visitors brought the bug. But then I got a new idea and I started investigating the water.
So that's what you've been working on.
I sent samples of the water to the university for exact chemical analysis.
And that's what you received.
This is it. It proves the existence of infectious organic materials in the water.
Well, thank God you discovered it in time.
I think we can say that, dear.
Isn't it wonderful?
What do you intend to do now, Doctor?
We'll put the whole thing right, of course.
Do you think that can be done?
Well, if not, the whole institute is worthless. But don't worry, I'm quite clear on what has to be done.
But Tom, why'd you keep it so secret?
What would you want me to do, Captain? Run my mouth off before I really knew? No, thank you. I'm not that crazy. You don't understand. The whole water system has got to be changed.
The whole system.
The whole system. The intake is much too low. It's got to be raised to a much higher spot. Why? The whole thing's got to be ripped out.
Well, Dad, at least you can prove that they should have listened to you.
Ha! She remembers.
That's right. You did warn them.
Of course I tried to warn them. When they started building the water supply down there, I told them not to. But who am I? A mere scientist to tell politicians where to build a health institute. Well, now they'll get it both barrels.
Well, this is tremendous. He's a great man.
It's bigger than tremendous. Wait till they see this. Oh, Petra, my report is on my desk. And Catherine, envelopes. Gentlemen, with the final proof from the university in my report, all 5 solid explosive pages.
Is this big enough?
Oh, fine, dear. Right, give this to the maid. What's her name?
Randine, dear, Randine.
Yes, well, tell our darling Randine to wipe her nose off and go run into the mayor's office straight away. What's the matter?
I don't know.
What's Uncle Peter going to say about this?
That's what I'm wondering.
Well, what can he say? He ought to be damn glad that such an important fact was brought up before we started an epidemic. Hurry, dear.
Oh, Doctor, I'd like to put a brief item about this in the messenger if you don't mind.
I'd be very grateful.
Because the public ought to know soon.
Most definitely.
By God, Doctor, you'll certainly be a leading man in this town.
Oh, it was nothing. Every detective gets a lucky break once in his life. Still, I was
say, Hofstad, don't you think Dr. Stockman ought to get some kind of tribute?
Oh, no.
Let's all put in a word.
I'll talk to Oslickson about it.
Oh, no. I won't put up with any commotion. Even if the board of directors wants to give me an increase, I won't take it. I just won't take it, Catherine.
That's right, Tom.
Skull, Father.
Skull, Doctor.
Skull. Doctor, I hope this brings you great honor and pleasure.
Thanks, friends. There's one blessing above all others. To have earned the respect of one's neighbors is... Catherine, I'm going to dance.
What are you doing? Children! You get down upstairs right now!
is a heavy buy later.
Oh. Well, maybe you better make sure you're home by then.
Well, I sure will be. I'm through with my morning visits anyway.
I'm just dying to see how he takes it.
Oh, is there any doubt? He'll probably try to make it seem like he made the discovery, not me.
Well, aren't you a little bit afraid of that?
Underneath it all, he'll be happy. It's just that Peter is so damn afraid that somebody else is going to do something good for this town.
Well, I wish you could go out of your way and share the honors with him. Couldn't you say he put you on the right track or something?
I don't mind. As long as it makes everybody happy.
So, is it true?
Father, come in.
Good morning.
It better be true or I'm leaving.
What had better be true?
This crazy story about the water system.
Of course it's true.
How did you find out about it?
Oh, Petra came flying by this morning on her way to school.
Oh, she did?
I thought she was trying to make a fool out of me.
Oh, now, Father, why would you go and do that?
Nothing pleases young people more than making old people look foolish. So it's true, huh?
Of course it's true. Sit down. Pretty lucky for the town, isn't it?
Lucky for the town?
That I made the discovery before it was too late.
Thomas, I never thought you had the imagination to pull your brother's leg like this.
Pull his leg.
But, Father, he's not.
Wait, now how does it go? Let me get this straight. There's some little cockroaches in the water pipe.
No, not cockroaches.
Well, some little animals.
The bacteria, Father.
But a whole mess of them.
Oh, there'd be millions and millions.
Oh, and no one can see them but you, right?
Well, yes. Well, anybody with a microscope. What are you laughing at?
Oh, but you don't understand, Father. Nobody can actually see bacteria, but it doesn't mean they're not there.
Good girl. You stick with him. Oh, my God, this is the best thing I've heard in my life.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
So, tell me, are you going to get your brother to believe this?
We'll see soon enough, Morton.
Do you think he's that crazy?
Morton, I hope the whole town is that crazy.
Well, they probably are. Serves them right, too. They think they're so much smarter than us old-timers. Your good brother had them bounce me off the console and chase me out like a dog. Made jackasses out of all of them, Stockman.
Yes, Morton, but...
Long-eared, short-tailed jackasses. If you can get the mayor and his elegant friends to grab at this bait, I'll give a couple $100 to charity right now, right on the spot.
Well, be very grateful for that, Morton.
If you can pull the rug out from under this cockroach business, I'll give 50 crowns to charity. Maybe that'll show them to put some brains back in the city hall.
Morning. Oh, pardon me.
Oh, come in.
Oh, he's in on it too, huh?
What's that, sir?
Of course he's in on it.
So I suppose it's going to be in the papers, huh? Looks like you're tying down all the corners. Well, lay it on thick. I gotta go.
Oh, stay. Let me explain it to you.
Oh, no. I got it. Only you can see him, huh?
But, Father, you don't understand about bacteria.
The old badger doesn't believe a word of it.
What does he think you're trying to do?
Making an idiot out of my brother. Imagine that.
You got a minute.
Sure.
I've been thinking about this since last night. And for you, as a medical man, a scientist, this is a really rare opportunity. But
Don't
I wonder if you've thought about that it ties into a lot of other things.
Well, Hofstad, what are you driving at?
You said last night that the water comes from impurities in the ground.
It comes from that poisonous dump up in Windmill Valley.
Doctor, I think it comes from an entirely different dump. The same dump that's been poisoning our whole social life in this town.
Oh, for God's sake, Hofstad, what are you babbling about?
Everything that matters in this town has fallen into the hands of a few bureaucrats.
Well, they're not all bureaucrats.
They're all rich, all with old, reputable last names, and they've got everything in the palm of their hands.
Yes, but they happen to have ability and knowledge.
Did they show ability and knowledge when they built the water system where they did?
No, but that was just a blunder, and we'll get that cleared up now.
You really think it's going to be as easy as all that?
Not easy or not, it's got to be done.
Doctor, I've made up my mind to give this scandal a very special treatment.
Oh, now wait a minute. You can't call it a scandal.
Doctor,
Not
when I
yet.
took over the People's Messenger, I swore I'd blow that old smug cabal of self-satisfied fogies to bits. This is a story that will do it.
Yes, but I still think we owe them a great debt of gratitude for building the springs.
The mayor being your brother, I ordinarily wouldn't touch it, but I know you wouldn't let that stand in the way of the truth.
No, of course not.
Doctor, I want to make something clear. I come from a simple family. I know in my bones what the underdog needs. He's got to have a say in the governance of society. That's what brings out ability, knowledge, and self-respect in people.
I know that, Hofstede.
I think any newspaper man who refuses to give the underdog a lift is taking on a responsibility that I don't want. I know in some fancy circles they call it agitation. They can call it whatever they want, but I've got my morals.
I agree with you, Hofstede, but this is really a simple business. You see, the water from up in the... Damn it! Come in!
I beg your pardon, Doctor, if I intrude.
Are you looking for me, Isaacson?
No, I didn't know you were here. I want to see the doctor.
What can I do for you?
Is it true, Doctor? Would I hear from Mr. Billing that you intend to campaign for a better water system?
Yes, for the Institute, but it's not a campaign.
Well, I just wanted to call and tell you that we are behind you 100%.
There, you see?
I thank you with all my heart, Miss
We can be important, Doctor. When the little businessman wants to push something through, he turns out to be the majority, and it's always good to have the majority on your side.
That's certainly true. But I don't understand. This seems to me a rather straightforward business. You see, the water is...
Of course, we intend to behave with moderation, Doctor. I always try to be a moderate and careful man.
You are known for that, Mr. Isaacson.
Kirsten Springs are becoming a gold mine for this town, especially for the little businessmen. And that's why, in my capacity as chairman of the Property Owners Association,
Yes?
and furthermore, as a representative of the Temperance Society, you probably know, Doctor, that I am active for prohibition.
So I've heard.
As a result, I've come into contact with all kinds of people. And since I'm known to be a law-abiding and solid citizen, I have a certain influence in this town. You might even call it a little power.
I know that, Mr. Isaacson.
That's why you can see that it would be practically nothing for me to arrange a demonstration.
Demonstration? But what are you going to demonstrate about?
The citizens of this town complimenting you for bringing this important matter to everybody's attention. Obviously, it would have to be done with the utmost moderation so as not to hurt the authorities.
This could knock the big bellies right into the garbage can.
No indiscretion or extreme aggressiveness toward the authorities, Mr. Hofstede. I don't want any wild-eyed radicalism on this thing. I've had enough of that in my time, and no good ever comes of it. But for a good, solid citizen to express his calm, frank, and free opinion is something that nobody can deny.
It heartens me to hear this kind of support, Mr. Isaacson. I'm happy. I really am. Listen, can I get you a glass of sherry?
I am a member of the Temperance Society.
Well, how about a glass of beer?
I don't think I can go quite that far, Doctor. Well, good day. And I want you to remember that the little man is behind you like a wall. You have the solid majority on your side because when the little man takes over...
Thank you, Mr. Isaacson. Have a good day.
Are you going to the printing shop, Mr. Hofstede?
No, I've got a thing or two to attend to here.
Very well.
What do you say to a little hypodermic for these fence-sitting deadheads? Everybody's afraid. They know perfectly well what's right, but they're afraid.
Why? I think Mr. Isaacson is a very sincere man.
Isn't it time we pump some guts into these well-intentioned men of goodwill? Under all that liberal talk, they still idolize authority, and that's got to be rooted out of this town. This blunder of a water system needs to be made clear to every voter. Please, let me print your report.
Not until I talk to my brother.
Then I'll write an editorial in the meantime, and if the mayor won't go along
How
with
can
it,
you imagine such a thing?
believe me, Doctor, it is entirely possible.
Listen, he will go along with it. And then you can print my report, every word.
On your word of honor.
Here, take it. Read it. It won't do you any harm. Return it to me later.
Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening. And you see, Hofstede, This is going to be a lot easier than you think.
I hope so, Doctor. Sincerely. Let me know when you hear from His Honor.
Catherine! Oh, Petra! You're home early.
I just got back from school.
Hasn't he been here yet?
So, Peter? No. But I just had a long chat with Hofstede, and he's really fascinated by my discovery. You know, it turns out this whole thing ties in with a lot more than I first thought. Do you know who I have backing me up?
Who in heaven's name have you got backing you up?
The solid majority!
Is that good?
Good! It's wonderful. You don't understand, Catherine, to know that the whole town feels as though it's a brother to you. I haven't been this at home in this town since I was a boy.
Oh, that's the front door.
Oh, Peter.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to see you.
How are you today?
Well, so-so. I received your thesis about the conditions of the springs yesterday.
I got your note. Did you read it?
I read it.
Well, what do you think?
Petra, please.
Thomas, was it really necessary to go into this investigation behind my back?
Well, yes, until I really knew for myself, there's no point.
And now, you are convinced.
Well, aren't you? The university chemist corroborated.
You intend to present this document to the board of directors officially, as the chief medical officer of the springs.
Yes! And something's got to be done, and quick!
You always use such strong expressions, Thomas. Among other things, in your report, you say that we guarantee our guests and visitors a permanent case of poisoning.
Well, can you put it some other way? Imagine poisoned internally and externally.
So, you merrily conclude that we must build a waste disposal plant and reconstruct the water system from the ground up.
Well, do you see some of the way out? I don't.
I took a little walk over to the city engineer this morning and sort of jokingly mentioned a few of these changes as something we might consider for the future, you know?
The future won't be soon enough, Peter.
He sort of smiled at my extravagance and gave me a few facts. I don't suppose you've considered what this little project of yours would cost.
No, I didn't think of that.
Naturally. This project would come in at just under 300,000 crowns.
That's expensive!
Oh, don't look so upset. It's only money. The real trouble is that it would take 2 years.
2 years!
At the least. And what do you propose we do about the springs in the meantime? Shut them up, no doubt? Because we'd have to. As soon as word gets around that the water is dangerous, we won't have a visitor left. And that's the picture, Thomas. You have it in your power to literally ruin your own town.
Look, Peter, I don't want to ruin anything.
Thomas, your report has not convinced me that the conditions are as dangerous as you make them out to be.
The conditions are even worse than the report makes them out to be. Summer is coming, and with the warm weather...
I think you're exaggerating. A capable physician ought to know what precautions to take.
And then what?
The existing water supplies from the springs are a fact, Thomas, and they've got to be treated as a fact. If you are reasonable and act with discretion, then the board of directors will be inclined to take under consideration any means to reasonably and without financial sacrifices make possible improvements.
My God! Do you think for one moment that I'd ever agree to such trickery?
Trickery?
Yes! A trick! A lie! A fraud! A crime against the public and against the whole community!
I said before that I am not convinced that there is any actual danger.
Oh, anything else is impossible! My report is an absolute fact. The only problem is it was you and your administration who decided to build the water supply where it is. And now you're afraid to admit the blunder you've committed. Damn it, don't you think I can see through it all?
All right. Maybe I do care about my reputation a little bit. I still say I do it for the good of the town. Without moral authority, there could be no government. And that is why, Thomas, it is my duty to prevent your report from reaching the board of directors.
You really imagine that can be prevented, Peter?
It will be prevented.
That can't be. There are too many people who know about it already.
Who? It can't possibly be those people from the Daily Messenger who...
Exactly. The free and liberal independent press will stand up and do its duty.
You are an unbelievably irresponsible man, Thomas. Can't you imagine what consequences this is going to have Yes, for you. For you and for your family.
What the hell are you saying now?
I believe I have the right to think of myself as a helpful brother, Thomas.
You have, Ben, and I thank you deeply for it.
Don't mention it. I often couldn't help myself. I had thought that by improving your finances, I would be able to prevent you from running completely hog wild.
So you did it all for your own sake?
Partly, yes. What do you imagine people think of a public official whose closest relative gets into trouble time and time again?
And that's what I've done.
You do it without even knowing it. You're like a man with an automatic brain. As soon as an idea gets into your head, no matter how idiotic, you jump up like a sleepwalker and start writing a pamphlet about it.
Peter, don't you think that it's a citizen's duty to share a new idea with the public?
The public doesn't need new ideas. The public is fine with old ideas.
You're not even embarrassed to say that.
Now look, I'm gonna lay this out once and for all. You're always barking about authority. If a man gives you an order, he's persecuting you. Nothing is important enough to respect once you decide to revolt against it. All right then, I give up. I'm done trying to protect you. I've told you the stakes you're playing for here, and now I'm going to give you an order, and I warn you, you had better obey it if you value your career.
What kind of order?
You are going to deny these rumors officially.
How?
You simply say that you went into the investigation more thoroughly, and you find that you over-exaggerated the danger. And you have confidence that whatever improvements are needed, the management can certainly take care of them.
My convictions come from the conditions of the water. My convictions will change when the water changes and for no other reason.
What are you talking about, convictions? You're an official. You keep your convictions to yourself.
To myself!
As an official, I said. God knows that as a private citizen, that's something else. But as a subordinate employee of the Institute, you have no right to express any opinions about anything regarding policy.
Listen! I am a doctor and I am a scientist!
And what's this got to do with science?
And I have the right to express my opinion on anything in the world!
Not about the Institute! That I forbid!
You forbid!
I forbid you as your superior!
Peter! If you are my brother, I take it by the neck!
Petra!
Oh, what have you two been doing? Eavesdropping?
You two were talking so loud, we couldn't.
Yes, I was eavesdropping.
Oh, that makes me happy.
You were saying something about forbidding?
You forced me to.
So you want me to spit in my own face officially, is that it?
Why must you always speak so colorfully?
And if I don't obey?
Then we will issue our own statement in order to calm the public.
Fine! Then I will write against you. And I will prove that I am right and you are wrong, and then what will you do?
Then I simply won't be able to prevent your dismissal.
What?
Dismissed from the Institute is what I said.
You wouldn't.
To make war on Kirsten Springs, you have no right to be on the board of directors.
You wouldn't dare.
Oh, no. You're the daring man.
Uncle, this is a rotten way to treat a man like father.
Petra, will you be quiet?
So young and you've got opinions already. That's only natural. Catherine, you're probably the only sane person left in this house. Knock some sense into his head, why don't you? Let him know what he's getting himself and his whole family into.
My family concerns nobody but myself.
His family and his whole town.
I will prove to you who loves this town. The people are going to get the full stink of this corruption, and then we will see who loves this town.
Oh, you love this town when you blindly, spitefully, stubbornly try to go ahead and cut off our most important industry.
The source is poisoned, man. We are getting fat by peddling filth and corruption to innocent people.
I think that this has gone beyond opinions and convictions, Thomas. A man who can throw that kind of insinuation around is nothing but a traitor to society!
Father!
I will have exposed myself to violence. Consider what you owe to yourself and to your family. You have been warned. Good day.
He's insulted. He's insulted.
It's shameful, Thomas.
Oh, how I'd love to give up a piece of my mind.
It's my own fault. Should have bared my teeth right from the beginning. He called me a traitor to society. Damn it all, that's not going to stick.
But please think. He's got all the power on his side.
Yes, but I have the truth on mine.
But without power, what good is truth?
Don't be ridiculous, Catherine. I have the solid majority and the liberal press.
But for heaven's sake, you're not going to...
What am I not going to do?
You're not going to fight it out in public with your brother.
I man he calls a traitor to society.
And what about the duty to your family? The ones you're supposed to provide for?
Don't always think of us first, Mother.
You can talk. If worse comes to worse, you can fend for yourself. But what about the children? Tom, what about you? What about me?
What about you? You want me to be the miserable animal who'd crawl up the boots of that damn gang? Will you be happy if I can't live with myself the rest of my life?
Tom. There's so much injustice in this world. You've simply got to learn to live with it. If you go on this way, God help us, we'll have no money again. Is it so long since the North that you've forgotten what it was like to live like we lived? Haven't we had enough of that for one lifetime? What's going to happen to them? We've got nothing to provide.
Stop it! Children, what did you learn in school today? You don't say.
What happened here? Why is everybody?
Nothing. Nothing. Listen. From now on, I'm going to teach you what a man is.
Doctor not come in yet?
Not yet. You finish it. Well, what do you think?
It's devastating. The doctor's a brilliant man, but I swear I myself didn't know how incompetent those fat fellows are on top. I hear the rumble of a revolution in this. Shh.
Oslickson's inside.
Oslickson's a coward. With all that moderation talk, well, all I'm saying is that he's yellow. But you are going to print this, aren't you?
Of course. I'm just waiting on the doctor to give the word.
But if the mayor doesn't agree, it's going to get pretty rough. You know that, don't you?
Just let him try and block that reconstruction. The whole town and the little businessmen will be screaming for his head. Oslickson will see to
But
that.
the stockholders will have to pay a pretty penny.
Billy, I think it's going to bust them. And when the springs go busted, the entire town is going to realize what level of genius has been running us. Those 5 sheets of paper are going to put in a liberal administration once and for all.
It's a revolution, you know that? We're on the edge of a real revolution.
Put it on the press!
Mr. Oslickson, the doctor's here.
What did the mayor say?
Well, the mayor has declared war. So war is what it's going to be. You know what he actually tried to do? He tried to blackmail me. He thinks I'm not allowed to speak my mind without his permission.
He actually said it right out.
Right to my face. Problem was, I kept giving them credit for being our kind of people. But they're not. They're dictators. They're men who will hold on to power even if they have to poison the whole town to do it.
Now take it easy, Doctor. You mustn't always be throwing accusations. I'm with you, understand, but moderation.
What do you think of the article, Hofstad?
It's brilliant. In one blow, you've managed to prove exactly what kind of men run us.
Maybe print it now then.
I should say so.
We'll have it ready for tomorrow's paper.
And, Mr. Officer, you run a fine paper. But supervise the printing yourself, will you? I'd hate to see the weather report stuck in the middle of my article again.
Well, don't worry, there won't be a mistake this time.
Make it perfect. Like you were printing money. Can't imagine how I'm dying to see it in print. After all the lies, half lies, and quarter lies, to finally see the unvarnished truth about something important. And this is just the beginning. We'll go on to other subjects too. What? We'll blow up every lie we live by. What do you say, Oslickson?
Just remember.
Moderation.
I don't see what's so funny about that.
Doctor, stop. I feel as though we're standing in some historic site. Well, god damn it, man, this is a historic day. One day will be entitled, The Day the Truth Was Born.
Oh, I forgot. I have a patient half bandaged down the road.
I hope you realize how
Give a man a little property and the truth can go to hell.
Mr. Billing, I'm older than you are. I've seen fire eaters before. Do you know who used to work at your desk before you? Councilman Stensford.
Just because I work at a renegade's desk does not
Or
mean...
a politician. A politician never knows where he's going to end up. And besides, you applied for a job as secretary to the magistrate, didn't you?
Billy!
Well, why not? With a job like that, I can put across some good things. If I get it, I can put a lot of big boys on the spot.
All right. I'm just saying, people change. And just remember, when you call me a coward, I may not have made the hot speeches, but I never went back on my beliefs either. Unlike some of the big radicals in this town, I didn't change. Of course, I'm a little more moderate.
Oh, God.
I don't see what's so funny about that.
If we could just get rid of...
Take it easy. He pays the printing bill, and Osmondson's not so bad. I'll get the printer on this.
Wait, Hofstadt. What if we get Dr. Stockman to back us? Then we could put out a real paper.
What do he do for money?
His father-in-law.
Heal? Since when's he got money?
I think he's loaded with it.
No. Every time I see him, it's always the same hat, the same shoes.
Yep, and the same ring on his right hand. You ever get a look at that boulder?
No, I can't say I...
All year he wears that ring inside out. New Year's Eve, he turns it around. Figure it out. When a man has no other visible means of support, what does he have? Money, right? Now my idea is...
Hello.
Oh, well, fancy seeing you here. Sit down. What can we do for you?
I want to ask you something.
What's that?
The English novel you want to translate it?
Aren't you going to do it?
I don't get this.
You don't get what?
This book is absolutely against everything you people believe.
No, it's not so bad.
But Mr. Hofstad, it says that if you're good, there's a supernatural force that'll fix it, so you end up happy. And if you're evil, you'll be punished. Since when does the world work that way?
Yes, but Petra, this is a newspaper. People like to read that kind of thing. They buy the paper for that, and then we slide in our political stuff. A newspaper can't buck the public.
You don't say.
Oh, now wait a minute. Here, take this to the printer,
Yeah,
will
of
you?
course, sure.
I want you to understand something. I never even read that book. It was Billing's idea.
I thought he was a radical.
Well, he is, but he's also...
A newspaper man.
That too, but what I'm trying to say is, Billing is going for a job as secretary to the magistrate.
What?
People are people, Miss Stockman.
But the magistrate? He's been fighting against everything progressive in this town for 30 years.
Let's not argue about it. I just didn't want you leaving here with the wrong idea of me. I'm sure you know that I happen to admire women like you. I never had the chance to tell you, but I want you to know. Do you mind?
No, I don't mind. But reading that book upset me. I really don't understand. Will you tell me why you're supporting my father?
What's the question? That's a matter of principle.
But a paper that'll print a book like that has no principle.
Why do you jump to such extremes? You are just like...
Like what?
I simply meant to say...
Like my father, you meant. You really have no use for him, do you?
No, don't be like that.
What's behind this? Are you just trying to hold my hand or something?
I happen to agree with your father, and that's why I'm printing his stuff.
You're trying to put something over, I think. Why are you in this?
Who are you accusing? Billing gave you that book, not me.
But you don't mind printing it, do you? You have no principles. What are you trying to do with my father? What are you up to here? My God, Hofstad. Miss Stockman, I don't think I've been so frightened in my life.
No, don't go like that.
Where are you going? The mayor's back there.
The mayor?
He wants to speak to you. He came in the back door. He doesn't want to be seen.
What does he want?
Silly watch for anyone coming in here.
Come in, Your Honor.
Thank you. It's clean. I always imagined this place would be dirty, but it's clean. Very nice, Mr. Osmondson.
Oh, not at all, Your Honor. I meant to say
What can I do for you, Your Honor? Sit down. Sit.
I had a very annoying thing happen today, Mr. Hofstad.
Is that so?
It seems that my brother has written some sort of memorandum about the springs.
Oh, really?
He's mentioned it to you.
Yeah, I think he might have said something about it.
That's it, isn't it?
This? I don't know. I haven't had a chance to look at it. The printer just handed
Isn't
it
that
to
the
me.
thing the printer wanted spell check?
That's right. It's only a question of spelling. I'll be right back.
I'm very good at spelling. Maybe I can help you.
No, Your Honor. It's got some Latin in it. You wouldn't know Latin, would you?
Oh, yes, I used to help my brother with his Latin all the time. Hand it over. you're going to print this.
I very can't well refuse a signed article. A signed article is the author's responsibility.
Mr. Osdixon, you're going to allow this.
I'm the publisher, not the editor, Your Honor. My policy is freedom for the editor.
No, you have a point there, I can see that.
So if you don't mind.
Not at all. This reconstruction of the springs.
I realize, Your Honor, it would mean tremendous sacrifices for the stockholders.
Don't upset yourself. The first thing a mayor learns is that the less wealthy can always be prevailed upon to demand a spirit of sacrifice for the common good.
I'm glad you see that.
Oh yes, especially when it's the wealthy who are going to be doing the sacrificing. What you don't seem to understand, Mr. Oslickson, is that so long as I am the mayor, any changes to the springs will have to be paid for by a municipal loan.
A municipal? You mean you're going to tax the people for this?
Exactly.
But the springs are a private corporation.
The corporation built Kirsten Springs out of its own money. If the people want them changed, then the people naturally must pay the bill. The corporation is in no position to put out any more money. It simply can't be done.
That's impossible. People will never stand for another tax. Is this a fact or your opinion?
It happens to be a fact. And plus another fact, and you'll forgive me for talking about facts in a newspaper office. But don't forget that the springs will take 2 years to make over. That's 2 years without income for your small businessman, Mr. Osselson, and a heavy new tax besides. And all because of this dream, this hallucination that we live in a festival.
That's based on science.
That's based on vindictiveness. That's based on his hatred of authority and nothing else. This is the mad dream of a man who wants to blow up our way of life. It has nothing to do with reason or science or anything else but pure and simple destruction. And I intend that the people understand it exactly so.
My God. Maybe. You sure you want to support this thing, Hofstad?
Frankly, I never thought of it in quite that way. I mean, when you think of it psychologically, the doctor could be out to... I don't know what to say, Your Honor. I don't want to hurt this town in any way. I didn't think there'd be a new tax.
Well, you should have thought of that, because you're going to have to advocate for it. Unless, of course, liberal and radical newspaper readers enjoy high taxes. You know better than I, of course. Now, I happen to have here a brief statement of the actual facts. It proves that with a little care, nobody at all need to be harmed by the water. Of course, in time, we'd have to make a few minor structural changes, and we would pay for those.
May I see that?
I want you to study it, Mr. Hoffman.
Is he expecting the doctor?
He's here.
He's crossing the street.
I can't run into him right now. What should I do?
Right this way.
Get him out of here, right away!
Do something! Do something!
Hurry up!
Any proofs yet? I guess not, eh?
Nope, you can't expect them for some time.
Oh, you mind if I wait?
No, we're very busy, Doctor, so...
Oh, don't let me keep you. That's the way to be. Busy, busy, busy. Why? We'll make this town shine like a jewel. Just one thing.
Doctor, please.
2 words. Crossing the street just now, seeing the people in the stores, I was touched by their innocence. You know what I mean? Well, you know, the whole thing that I'm driving at is that when this expose breaks, they're liable to start making a saint out of me or something. And Mr. Osmondson, I want you to promise me you're not going to try to get up any dinner for me or anything.
Now, Doctor, there's no use concealing.
I knew it! I simply will not attend a dinner in my honor.
Doctor, we are very busy right now. Could you please?
I thought so. Thomas, I want you home. I want you to talk to Petra. Now, come.
Something wrong, Mrs. Stockman?
Catherine, what are you doing?
Dr. Stockman is the father of 3 children, Mr. Hofstad.
Everybody knows that, Catherine.
Well, no one would
the whole town is going to come out and finally drive that gang of What the hell is he doing
Now,
here?
Doctor, let's be calm and
Whoa, what did he do? Talk you out of it, Hofstad? Where are you hiding him?
be careful, Doctor.
Oh, Peter! Poisoning the town wasn't enough for you. You're working on the press now, too, eh?
My hat, please. And my stick. Now, what is this nonsense? Take that off.
I just want you to realize, Peter, that in a democracy, this hat may pass from hand to hand, and that a free citizen is not afraid to touch it. As for your baton of command, this isn't over. So don't gloat yet, because the people haven't spoken. And I have the people because I have the truth, my friends.
Doctor, we're not scientists. We can't judge whether your article is really true.
Print it under my name. Let me defend it.
Doctor, I'm not printing this article. When the word breaks about the springs, people aren't going to stand for any changes.
His Honor just told us, Doctor. You see, there'd have to be a new tax.
Oh, a new tax! So that's why you're suddenly not scientists and can't decide whether or not I'm telling the truth. Well, so.
No, don't be like that. The point is
Oh, the point is going to fly through this town like an arrow, and I'm going to fire it. Print it as a pamphlet. I'll pay for it.
I'm not going to ruin this paper or this town. Doctor, for the sake of your family.
Oh, you can leave his family out of this, Mr. Oslickson. God help me. I think you people are all horrible.
My article, if you don't mind.
Doctor, you won't get it printed in this town.
Can't you forget it? Can't you see now that everyone is opposed to it?
Oh, I won't forget it, and you will never forget it so long as you live. I'm going to call a mass meeting, and
And who is going to bring to a halt?
Well, then I will take a drum and go from street corner to street corner, proclaiming that the springs are befouled and are rotting the body politic.
And I believe you really are that man.
Mad? My brother, you haven't even heard me raise my voice yet. Catherine?
so I decided not to have chairs at all.
My name is Billy, sir. Do you remember we met at the doctor's house?
Oh, yes. I've been so busy I forgot.
Well,
Why don't all these people come inside?
I don't know. I guess they're waiting for the mayor or somebody important to get in here so they know it's respectable.
Ah.
But while I have your time, can I please ask you a few questions? So, why are you offering your place for this? I never thought of you connected to anything, well, political.
I'll answer that. I travel for work all year. Have you ever traveled?
Not abroad, no.
Well, I've been a lot of places where people aren't allowed to say unpopular things. Did you know that?
I've read about it, yes.
Well, I don't like it.
Well, one more question, if you will, sir. What is your opinion on the doctor's proposition to rebuild the whole springs?
Don't understand a thing about it. Come in. Come in. I'll have a lot of chairs. You might have to stay.
Try the horn.
No, let him start to talk first.
Wait till they hear this. I can blow your mustache off with this.
Hey! I don't want the roughhousing in here. You hear me? Come in. I've got seats just for you here.
There's a lot of people out there on the sidewalk. Why don't they come in?
Perhaps they're waiting for the mayor.
Are all of those people on his side?
People are bashful. And this is such a strange type of meeting.
Good evening, ladies. I don't blame you for not speaking to me tonight. I just wanted to say I don't think this will be a place for ladies.
I don't remember asking your advice, Mr. Billy.
I'm not as bad as you think, Mrs. Stockman.
Then why did you print the mayor's report and not a word of my husband's article? Nobody's had a chance to hear what he really believes in. Why, everybody out there is against him already.
Well, if we would have printed his report, it would only have hurt your husband.
I've never said this to anyone in my life, Mr. Billy, but I think you're a liar.
One more time, and I'll throw you out of here. Catherine. Petra.
Good evening.
Why so cold? He wanted a mead, and now he's got it.
Isn't he here? And the doctor's going around town to be sure there's a good attendance.
Fair enough. By the way, Petra, was it you who painted that poster that someone stuck up on town hall?
If you can call it a painting, then yes.
You know I could have you arrested for that. It's against the law to deface town hall.
Well, here I am.
If you arrest her, Peter, I'll never speak to you again.
Catherine, you have no sense of humor.
Say, friend, who's running? Who's the candidate?
You're drunk. Get out of here.
There's no law saying a man who's drunk can't vote.
Come on. Get out.
I want to vote! I got a right to vote!
Your Honor, please.
Come on in, sir. There you go. Sorry there are no chairs, but we couldn't get in a hall, so just relax. It's good to see you, Peter.
I wouldn't have missed this for the world.
How do you feel, Captain?
Just promise me you won't lose your temper.
Look, you ain't voting! What the hell's going on around here?
Didn't I tell you to get out of here?
I don't push.
I order you to get out of here and stay out.
I don't like the tone of your voice, mister. If you don't like your step, I'm gonna go straight to the mayor. He's gonna throw us all in
All right. Quiet down, everyone. Now, there's no reason that this should take very long. The matter is rather simple.
We haven't elected a chairman, Doctor.
Oh, Mr. Osmerson, I called a lecture. This isn't a meeting.
I came to a meeting. Doctor, there has to be some kind of control here.
Control? What do you mean control? What is there to control?
Let him speak. This is no meeting.
Your Honor, why don't you take control
Oh, now wait a minute.
Somebody responsible has got to be in charge. There's a big difference of opinion.
Well, you don't even know what I'm going to say.
I've got a pretty good idea what you're gonna say, and I don't like it. If a man doesn't like it around here, let him go where it suits him better. We don't want any trouble here.
Look, friend, you don't know anything about me.
We know plenty about you, Stockton.
From whom? The newspapers? How do you know I don't like this town? I'm here to save this town.
neutral party. I suggest Mr. Isaacson, who has always been.
I came to a lecture. I didn't come
What are you
to
afraid of? A fair fight? Second, Mr. Isaacson!
Okay. I just want to remind you people, the reason I called this lecture is that I have a very important message for you. I just hope I'll be given some time to speak here tonight. Mr. Isaacson!
I just have one word before we start. Whatever is said tonight, please remember that the highest civic virtue is moderation. Now, if anybody wants to speak,
I heard that! Since when is electioneering allowed at the polls? I'm going to the mayor, damn it!
Wait. Does anybody want the floor?
Mr. Chairman!
It's under the mayor. Will address the meeting.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's no reason to take very long to settle this tonight and return to our ordinary, calm, and peaceful lives. Now here's the issue. My brother, Dr. Stockman, and believe me, it's not easy for me to say this, has decided to destroy Kirsten Springs, our health institute.
Let the mayor continue, please. There mustn't be any interruptions.
He has a very long and involved way of going about it, but that's the brunt of it, believe me.
Then what are we wasting time for?
I don't want any violence. I want you to understand his motives. He is a man who is never happy unless he is badgering authority, belittling authority, destroying authority. He wants to attack the Springs so that he can convince you that the administration blundered in their development.
What the hell are you talking about?
The mayor isn't finished.
Thank you. Now, there are some here who seem to believe that the doctor has a right to say anything he pleases. We are, after all, a democratic society. Now, in ordinary times, I would agree 100% with anyone's right to say anything they want. But these are not ordinary times. Nations have crises, and so do towns. There are ruins of nations, and there are ruins of towns. And they were brought about by people who, under the guise of pleading for justice and reform and so on, broke down all authority and left only revolution and chaos.
May I speak, may
I'll
I?
have to insist, Doctor.
Look, I didn't invite him here to attack me. He's got the press and every hall in town to attack me, and all I've got is this house tonight.
Doctor, please continue, Your Honor.
Now, this is our crisis. We know what our town was like without our health institute. We could barely afford to keep our streets in condition. It was a dead, third-rate hamlet. Today, we are just on the verge of becoming internationally known as a resort. I predict that within 5 years, the income of every man in this town, in this room, will be immensely greater. I predict that our schools will be bigger and better, and that in time, our streets will be crowded with fine carriages. Great homes will be built here. First-class stores will open all across Main Street. I predict that if we were not defamed and maliciously attacked, we would someday be one of the finest resort towns in the world. Now, all you've got to do is ask yourself a simple question. Has any one of us the right, the so-called democratic right, as they say, to pick at the most minor flaws, to exaggerate the most picayune faults, and to publish these defamations for the whole world to see? We live or die on what the outside world thinks of us. I believe that there is a line that must be drawn, and if a man decides to cross that line, we, the people, must take him by the collar and declare, "You cannot say that!" All right, then. I believe that we understand each other. I move that
vote.
What? You gonna let me speak at all?
Doctor, we are just about to vote on that question.
But damn it, man, I've got a right to!
Point of order, Father.
Yes, point of order.
Yes, Doctor? You want to discuss the motion?
Yes, I want to discuss the motion, damn it!
All right, go ahead.
Now listen. He talks and talks, but not a word about the facts.
We don't want to hear any more about the water.
You're just trying to prove up everything.
Let me prove it to you. Let me read.
Now, we can't have this uproar. I think, Doctor, that the majority wants to take the vote before you start to speak. If they so will it, you can speak. Otherwise, majority rules. You won't deny that.
Don't bother voting. I understand everything now. May I have a few minutes?
Mr. Chairman,
The springs are not the subject. I have a new discovery that's 1,000 times more important than all the springs in the world. May I have the platform?
I don't see how we can deny you that.
The springs are not the subject. Before I go into my subject tonight, I just want to congratulate the liberals and radicals amongst us like Mr. Hofstede.
Who are you calling a radical? Where's your evidence that I'm a radical?
There isn't any. I guess that there never really was. I just want to congratulate you on your self-control tonight. You who have fought in every parlor for the principles of free speech these many years.
I fight for democracy. When my readers are overwhelmingly against something, I am not going to impose my will on them.
You have begun my remarks, Mr. Hofstede. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Stockman, Miss Stockman, tonight I had a new discovery, a sudden flash of light. But before I tell you, a little story. I spent a great many years up in the north of our country. Why, up there, man lives on ice, huddled together in little piles of stone. He spends his whole life grubbing for food, and he can barely speak his own language. And it came to me one day that it was romantic and sentimental for a man of my education to be tending these people. They had not yet reached the stage where they needed a doctor. If the truth were to be told, a veterinarian would be more
Wait a second, doctor. Is that the way you treat decent, hardworking people?
You expected that, my friend. You can no longer fog up my brain with that magic word, the people. Not anymore. Just because there's a mass of organisms with a human shape, they do not automatically become a people.
Right.
That honor has to be earned. Nor does one automatically become a man by having human shape and living in a house, and stuffing one's face and agreeing with one's neighbors. That name also has to be earned. Now, when I came to my conclusions about the springs,
you have no right to...
That's a peculiar thing to catch me on a word, Peter. When I became convinced of my theory about the water, the authorities moved in at once. And I told myself, I will fight them to the death because...
What are you trying to make? A revolution here? Here's a
Let
revolution!
me finish! I said to myself, I have the majority. And let me tell you, friends, it was a grand feeling. Because the reason I came back to this town of my birth was because I wanted to share my education with this town. I loved it. So I spent months without pay or encouragement, and I dreamed up the whole concept of the springs, not as my brother says, so that fine carriages may crowd our streets, but so we might meet people from all over the world and learn from them and become broader and more civilized. In other words, more like men, more like a people.
You never liked anything about this town, have you?
That's it! You're
takes 50 years for the majority to be right. The majority is never right until it does right.
I want to state right now that although I've been this man's friend and I've eaten at his table many times, I now cut myself off from him.
Let me finish! Listen! A platoon of soldiers is walking down the road toward the enemy. Every one of them is convinced he is on the right road, the safe road. But up ahead stands one lonely man, the outpost. He can see that this road is dangerous, that his brothers are walking into a trap. Now, doesn't this man have the right to warn the majority? To argue with the majority? To fight with the majority if he believes he has the truth? Before many can know something, one must know it. It's always the same. Rights are sacred until it hurts to use them. Now, I beg you, I realize the cost is great. The inconvenience is great. That other towns will get the jump on us while we're rebuilding.
Mr. Osterman, he is not.
Let me prove it to you! The water is poison!
That's enough! Stop it! Stop it! I will have no violence here! Dr. Stockman, get off the stage and get Mr. Osterman to the platform!
I'm not through yet!
Tom, please come down. I want to go home.
Get down now or I'm responsible for what happens!
Fine! Then I'll go to out-of-town newspapers until the whole country is warned.
You wouldn't dare!
They're trying to ruin this town! He's trying to ruin it!
And you are trying to build a town on a morality so rotten that it will infect the country and the world. If the only way you can prosper is by this murder of freedom and truth, then I say with all my heart, let it be destroyed. Let the people perish!
I would like to submit the following resolution. The people assembled here tonight, decent and patriotic citizens, in defense of their town and their country, declare that Dr. Stockman, medical officer of the Springs, is an enemy of the people.
That's not true! He lost his town!
You fools!
Is there
You
anyone
damn
against
fools!
this motion? Anyone against?
I am.
One.
Me too. You can't do without a doctor. Anybody would tell you.
Anybody else? With all votes against two, this assembly formally declares Dr. Thomas Stockman to be the people's enemy. In the future, all dealings with him by decent, patriotic citizens will be on that basis.
Captain! Is there any room for us on your ship to America?
Anytime you like.
Captain, Petra.
You better get on that ship soon.
Let's go out the back door!
No! No back doors! I don't want to mislead anybody, but the enemy of the people is not through in this town. Not yet, anyway. And if any of you think that you're going to... Catherine! Tell what's her name there's still some rocks to pick up in here.
Still cleaning up the glass. You all right?
A little boy! Look at him run! Oh, how fast the poison spreads even to the children.
It's hard to believe this is the same town.
I'm going to put these in my will. I want the children to have them in their homes when they grow up. Cold in here. Why hasn't what's-her-name got the glazier here?
She's getting him.
Well, she's been getting him for 2 hours or freeze to death.
He's not coming, Tom.
No? The glazier's afraid to fix my windows?
You don't realize. People don't like to be pointed out. I suppose he has neighbors. I have a letter for you.
What's this now?
I don't know how we're going to get any shopping done with everybody ready to bite my head off.
Evicted!
Oh, no.
The landlord hates to do it, but with public opinion being what it is.
Maybe we shouldn't have let the children go to school today.
Oh, don't get all frazzled again.
But the landlord is such a nice man. If he's going to throw us out, then the whole town is ready to murder us.
Calm down, calm down. We'll go to America. This whole thing will be like a dream.
I don't want to go to America. When did this happen?
Must have been last night.
Your best pants.
Well, it goes to show you. Man goes out to fight for the truth should never wear his best pants. Don't worry. You'll sew them up and then we'll be 3,000 miles away.
But how do you know it'll be any better there?
I don't know. It just seems to me in a country that big, the spirit must be bigger. Still, I suppose they have the solid majority there, too. At least there'd be more room to hide there.
Please, think. I'd hate to know that we went halfway around the world to find that we're in the same place.
You know, Catherine, I don't think I'll ever forget the face on that crowd last night.
Don't think about it.
Some of them had their teeth bared like animals. And who leads them? Men who call themselves liberals, radicals. While the crowd lets out one roar, and where are they, my liberal friends? I bet if I walked down the street right now, not one of them would ever admit he had met me. Still, I suppose. Catherine, are you listening to me?
I was just wondering what we're going to do with this furniture if we go to America.
Do you ever listen when I talk, dear?
Why must I listen? I know you're right. Petra, what are you doing home from school?
What happened?
I'm fired.
They wouldn't.
As of 2 weeks from now, but I couldn't bear to stay there.
Mrs. Busk fired you?
Who could think she could do such a thing?
It hurt her. I could see it. Because we've always agreed so about such things. But she didn't dare do anything else.
Oh, great. The glazier doesn't dare fix our windows. The landlord doesn't dare let us stay on.
The landlord?
Evicted, darling. Oh, my God. On all the wreckage of humanity, there ought to be a big sign that says, they didn't dare.
I really can't blame her, Father. She showed me 3 letters she got just this morning.
From whom?
They weren't signed.
Oh, naturally. The big patriots with their anonymous indignation, scrawling out of the darkness of the minds onto dirty little slips of paper. That's morality? And I'm the traitor? What did the letter say?
Well, one of them was from a man who said that he'd overheard at the club that someone who visits this house said I had radical opinions on such things.
Oh, great. Somebody heard, that he heard, that she heard, that he heard. Catherine, pack up as soon as you can. I feel as though I have vermin crawling all over me. Good morning. Captain, just the man I wanted to see.
Well, I thought I'd come see how you all are.
That's awfully nice of you, Captain. I wanted to thank you for getting us through the crowd last night.
Did you get home all right? We hated to leave you alone with that mob.
Oh, one thing to remember in a storm, it will pass.
Unless it kills you.
Can't let yourself get too bitter, Doctor.
I'm trying. But I can't guarantee how I'll feel walking down the street with traitor branded on my forehead.
Don't think about it.
Yeah, what's a word?
A word, Captain, can be like a needle, stabbing through your heart, corroding like an acid, until you become really what they want you to be, really an enemy of the people.
You must never let that happen, Doctor.
Frankly, I don't give a damn anymore. Let an epidemic break out. Then they'll see who they drove into exile.
You really decided to go then, Father?
Absolutely. When do you sail, Captain?
Well, that's what I came to talk to you about.
Something happened to the ship?
Nope, the ship will sail, but I will not be on it.
You see, we can't go.
No.
You're fired? Because I was this morning.
You shouldn't have let us use your house, Captain.
Oh, I'll get another ship. It's just that the owner, Mr. Vick, because Mr. Vic is really a very decent man.
Oh, they're all decent men.
No, he's not like the others.
He doesn't have to be, Captain. A party is like a sausage grinder. Why, it takes big heads, fat heads, long heads, and short heads, mashes them up, and what comes out? Dickheads!
That must be the blazer.
Imagine, Captain, he refused to come all morning.
If you're busy,
Oh, just picking up rocks and broken glass. Come on in, Peter.
Captain, please. Petrol.
yes, Doctor, I'd like to finish our conversation.
I'll see you in a minute. Keep your hat on if you'd like. It's a little drafty in here today.
Thanks, I believe I will. I think I almost caught cold last night. That house was freezing.
Ah, I thought it was a little warm. Suffocating, as a matter of fact. What do you want?
May I sit down?
Careful. A piece of the solid majority is liable to split your skull open. There. Don't tell me.
Yes.
I'm fired.
The board met this morning. There was nothing that could be done considering the state of public opinion.
You look scared, Peter.
I haven't completely forgotten that you're my brother.
I doubt that.
You'll have no practice left in this town, Thomas.
People always need a doctor.
A petition is going from house to house. Everyone is signing it. A pledge not to call on you anymore. I don't think a single person will dare refuse signing it.
You started it, didn't you?
No. As a matter of fact, I think this has all gone a little bit too far. I never wanted to ruin you, Thomas, and this will ruin you.
No, it won't.
For once in your life, could you act like a responsible man?
Why don't you admit it, Peter? You're afraid that I'm going to go out of town and start publishing things about the springs.
I don't deny that. Thomas, if you really have the good of the town at your heart, you can accomplish everything that you want without damaging anybody, including yourself.
What's this now?
Just give me a signed statement saying that in your zeal to help the town, you went overboard and exaggerated. Put it any way you like, just so long as you calm anyone who might be nervous about the water. Now, you give me that, and you've got your job, and I give you my word that you can gradually make all the improvements that you feel are necessary. Now, that gives you what you want.
You're nervous, Peter.
I am not nervous.
You want me to remain in charge while people are being poisoned.
In time, you can make changes.
Wait! 5 years? 10 years? You know, Peter, there are certain things you don't grasp even now. There are men that you simply cannot buy.
Oh, I'm quite capable of understanding that, but you don't happen to be one of them.
What do you mean by that?
You know damn well what I mean by that. Morton Keel is what I mean by that.
Morton Keel?
Yes, Morton Keel, your father-in-law.
I swear to God, Peter, one of us is losing his mind. What are you talking
Now,
about?
don't try to charm me with that professional innocence.
What are you talking about?
You don't know that your father-in-law has been going around town buying up stock in Kirsten Springs.
Buying up stock?
Yes, buying up stock. Every share that he can lay his hands on.
Oh, Peter, I don't see what that has to do with me.
Oh, come now, come now, come now.
I hate when you do that. Grumbling around, come now, come now, come now. What the hell are you talking about?
Very well. If you insist on being dense. A man wages a relentless campaign to destroy confidence in the corporation. He even goes so far as to call a mass meeting against it. The very next morning, when people are still in a state of shock about everything, his father-in-law goes around town buying up stock at half the value.
My God.
And you have the nerve to talk to me about principles.
You mean you actually believe
I'm
that?
not interested in psychology. I believe in what I see. And what I see is nothing more than a man doing a dirty, filthy job for Morton Keel. And believe me, by the time I'm done, everyone in town will see the same thing.
Peter,
Now, go to your desk and write me a statement denying everything I've been saying, or
Peter, you are a low creature.
All right then. Let's get this one straight. If you're figuring an opening of an attack from outside of town, keep this in mind. The morning it's published, we will send out a subpoena for you and begin prosecution for conspiracy. I've been trying to make you respectable all my life. Now, if you want to make the big jump, there'll be nobody there to hold you back. Do we understand each other?
Oh, yes. We do. Get the girl! What the hell's her name? Wash the walls, scrub the floors. I feel as though a pestilence has been here! More. What is the matter with you? Do you realize what this makes me look like? Is that them?
That's them. Kirsten Springstocks, and very easy to get this morning.
Martin, don't play with me. What's this all about?
What are you so nervous about? Can a guy go out and buy some stock without...
I want an explanation, Martin.
Thomas, they hated you last night,
You don't have to tell me that.
but they believed you. They'd like to murder you, but they believed you. The way they say it, that pollution's coming down from Windmill Valley.
That's exactly where it's coming from.
And that's exactly where my tannery is.
Well, Morgan, I never made any secret to you that the pollution was tannery waste.
Well, I'm not blaming you. It's my fault. I didn't take you seriously. It's very serious now. Thomas, I got that tannery from my father, and he got it from his father, and he got it from my great-grandfather. And I will not allow my family's name to stand for 3 generations of poisoning angels that ruin this town.
Morton, I've waited a long time for this talk. I don't think there's anything you can do to prevent that.
No, but you can.
I
bought those stocks this morning.
Oh, Morton, you've thrown your money away. The springs are doomed.
I never throw my money away. I bought those stocks with your money.
My money?
Well, I'm sure you suspect that I plan to leave something for Catherine and the children.
Well, naturally, I hope you leave a little something.
Well, this morning I invested in some stock, Thomas.
What? You bought that junk with Catherine's money?
People call me Badger. That's an animal that roots things out. It's also some sort of a pig, I understand. I lived a clean man, and I'm gonna die clean, and you're gonna clean my name for me.
Morton!
And now I want to see if you really belong in a straitjacket.
Morton, how could you dare do such a thing? What's the matter with you?
Well, don't get so excited. It's very simple. If you could just do another investigation of the water.
I don't need another investigation.
But if you think it over and decide that you want to change your opinion about the water.
But the water's poison, man. It's poison.
If you insist on saying the water's poisoned with these in your house, there's only one thing to be said about you. You must be absolutely crazy.
You're right. I'm mad. I'm insane.
You must be. You're tearing the skin off your family's back. Only a madman would do something like that.
Morton, I'm a penniless man. Why didn't you warn me before you bought that junk?
Because I thought you would understand better after. And damn it, I think you do understand, don't you? Millions of tons of water flow down that river. How do you know the day you did your testing there wasn't something unusual about the water?
No, I took too many samples.
How do you know? Couldn't those little animals that have clotted up in the one patch of water you souped out that day? How do you know the rest wasn't pure?
It's not probable. There are too many people getting sick last summer.
They were sick when they got here. Otherwise they wouldn't have come.
Not with skin diseases, intestinal diseases.
The only place to get a bellyache is here? There are no carbuncles in Norway? What about the food? Maybe the food was bad. Did you ever think about the food?
No, I didn't look into the food.
Then what the hell makes you so sure that it's the water?
Because I tested the water, and the water is...
Admit it. We're all alone here. You have some doubt.
Well, nothing is 100% certain on this earth, but...
Well, you have every right to doubt the other way. What about a disinfectant? Did you ever think about a disinfectant?
Not for a mass of water like that. You can't...
Oh, everything can be killed. That's science. Thomas, I never really liked your brother. You have a perfect right to hate him.
I didn't do it because I hate my brother.
Oh, part of it. Don't deny it. You admit there's some doubt in your mind about the water. You also admit that there could be some way to disinfect it. And yet you went after your brother as if the only way to cure it was to blow up the whole institute. There's hatred in that, my boy. Don't you forget it. These can be yours. Be sure. Be sure. Tear that hatred out of your heart. Stand naked in front of yourself. Are you sure?
What right do you have to gamble with my family's future based on the strength of my convictions?
Aha, then maybe those convictions aren't so strong.
I'm ready to hang for my convictions, but no man has the right to make a martyr out of others. Sell back those shares. Give Catherine what is hers. I'm a penniless man!
No one's going to say that Morton Hill wrecked this town. You retract your convictions, or these go to charity.
Everything?
There'll be a little left for Catherine, but not much.
Charity?
Charity will do it, or you will do it. It's a terrible thing to ruin a town.
Morton, when I look at you, I swear to God I see the devil. You!
Now, don't get excited, please.
Oh, too many intellectuals for me.
Doctor, can we have 5 minutes of your time?
I've got nothing to say to you.
I want your answer right away. I'll be waiting.
All right. Say it quick, what do you want?
We don't expect you to forgive our attitude at the meeting.
Oh! Your attitude was prone, prostrated, prostituted!
All right, call it whatever you want.
Look, I've got a lot on my mind, so get to the point.
Doctor, you should have told us what was behind it all. You'd have had the paper behind you all the way.
You would have had the public opinion with you now. Why didn't you tell us?
Look, I'm very tired.
He's been going all over town buying up stock in the Springs. It's no secret anymore.
Well, what about it?
You don't want me to spell it out, do you?
I certainly wish you would.
All right, let's lay it on the table. Oslerson, you want to?
No, go ahead.
Doctor, in the beginning, we supported you. We couldn't go on supporting you because, well, in simple terms, we didn't have the money to withstand the loss in circulation. You're boycotted now? Well, the paper would have been boycotted too if we'd stuck with you.
You can see that, Doctor.
Yes, but what do you want?
The People's Daily Messenger can put on such a campaign that in 2 months, you'll be hailed as a hero in this town.
We're ready to go.
We will prove to the public that you had to buy up stock in the Springs, because management wouldn't make the changes required for public health. In other words, you did it for absolutely scientific, public-spirited reasons. Now, what do you say?
So you want money from me, is that it?
Well, now, Doctor.
No, let's not beat around it. Doctor, if we continue to support you again, we'd lose circulation for a while. We'd like you, or Mr. Keel rather, to make up the deficit. Now that's open and above board. I see nothing wrong with it, do you?
Remember, Doctor, you need the paper. You need it desperately.
No, I don't see anything wrong with it. Although for myself, my name really was never dirty. I don't enjoy being hated, if you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Oslerson, would you show him the budget?
Just a minute. There's one point that I hate to keep repeating. But the water is poison.
Now, Doctor.
Just a minute. The mayor says that he'll levy a new tax on everyone to help pay for the new reconstruction. I assume that you're ready to support him at the same time you're supporting me?
That tax would be extremely unpopular.
Doctor, with you back in charge of the baths as medical officer, we know that nothing's gonna go wrong.
In other words, you will clean up my name so that I can be in charge of the corruption.
But we can't tackle everything at once. A new tax? There'd be an
It
uproar.
would ruin the paper.
So you don't intend to do anything about the water?
Well, we have faith you won't let anyone get sick.
Oh, in other words, gentlemen, you are looking for someone to blackmail into paying your printing bill.
We are trying to clear your name, Dr. Stockman. And if that's going to be your attitude, if that's how you're going to be about it, then...
Yes, go on.
I think we better leave.
Oh, no, I want you to tell me what you're going to do. Me, the man who 2 minutes ago you were going to make into a hero. What will you do now that I won't pay you?
Doctor, the public is almost hysterical.
Tell me what you're going to do.
The mayor will prosecute you for conspiracy to destroy a corporation, and without a paper behind you, you'll end up in prison.
Oh, and you're go along with him, won't you? You're supporting. Tell me, Hofstad, you will not deny me this little victory. You will go on crucifying the hero. Go on, tell me, Hofstad, you will not leave here until I get this from your mouth.
You are a madman! You are insane with egotism, and don't try and excuse it with humanitarian slogans, because a man who will drag his family through a lifetime of disgrace is nothing but a demon in his heart. You hear me? A demon who cares more for the safety of a public bath than the lives of his wife and children! Dr. Stockman, you deserve everything you are going to get.
Please consider it, Doctor. It won't take much money, and in 2 months' time,
My God! What's the matter? What's happened? Something's happened. Look at him!
I'm alright. It's nothing.
What happened?
Nothing, Papa, I swear.
What happened? Why aren't you in school?
The teacher says we better stay home for the rest of the week.
The boys hit him?
They started calling you names, so we got sore and began to fight with Bucket. And all of a sudden, a whole bunch of them jumped on him.
Why did you answer?
They call him a traitor. My father's no traitor. But you didn't have to answer.
You should have known they would have jumped you. They could have killed you.
I don't care.
Martin!
I'll kill him. I'll take a rock, and the next time I see him, then I'll kill him. Let me go. Let me go.
Martin!
They called you a traitor, an enemy.
Shh. That's all. Wash your face. Good day, gentlemen.
Let us know what you decide.
I have decided. I am an enemy of the people.
Tom,
To
what
such-
are you saying?
To such people who will teach their children to think with their fists, I am an enemy. And my boy, my children, my family, I think you can count us all enemies.
But Doctor, you could have everything you want.
I could have everything except the truth. The water is poisoned,
You'll be in charge.
but the children are poisoned. The people are poisoned. If the only way I can be a friend of the people is to take charge of that corruption, then I am an enemy. The water is poisoned, poisoned, poisoned. That's the beginning of it, and that's the end of it. Now get out of here!
You know where you're going to end.
What are you doing?
You're a fanatic. You're out of your mind.
What are you doing?
They want me to buy the paper, buy the springs, buy the pollution of this whole town. They'll make a hero out of me for that. But I am no hero. I am an enemy. And now I'm going to show you just what kind of enemy I am. I will take my pen and sharpen it like a dagger. And you, all you friends of the people, will bleed before I'm through. Go! Tell them to sign the petitions. Warn them not to call me when they get sick. Beat up my children. Never let Petra in the school again, or she'll destroy the immaculate purity of the vacuum there. Go! See to the barricades. Ring the bells. Sound the alarms. The truth is out. The truth is out, and soon it will be prowling like a lion in
You
the
are
streets.
out of your mind!
Out of here! I said get out of here!
Don't you say that to him. Yeah!
I've had all the ambassadors of hell today, but there be no more. Listen, Catherine, children, we are besieged. They're called for blood now. They're whipped the people like oxen. Stay away from there!
The captain knows where we can get a ship.
No ships.
We're staying?
But I'm not letting the children back to school. I will not let them out of the house.
We're staying.
Good.
And listen, we must be careful. We must live through this. Children, no more school. I'm going to teach you, and Petra will. Captain, can we use your house?
Sure, I'm never there.
Do you know any kids, street lads, hooky players?
Oh, sure.
Good. I want about 12 of them to start. I want them good and ignorant, absolutely uncivilized. And Petra, we'll turn out not taxpayers, newspaper subscribers, but free and independent people hungry for the truth. Oh, I forgot. Run and tell Grandpa as follows. Tell him no.
What do you mean?
Means, my dear, that we are all alone, and it will be a long night before it's day.
Half the town is out!
What's going to happen, Tom? What's going to happen?
I don't know, but remember, you are fighting for the truth, and that's why you're alone. And that's what makes you strong. We're the strongest people in the world, and the strong must learn to be lonely.